Hi, everyone, and welcome to Loveworks. I am Stella, and we are going to do an all signs tarot reading for you. This is a timeless reading. What we're going to do is we are going to look at how to switch it up. We're going to do Aries all the way through Pisces. So, of course, if you do know different astrological placements within your chart, you are welcome to look at different placements and signs. Okay, so let's see what's going on for Aries. Aries, please. Okay, it is time to switch it up, Aries. So let's see in which area: your higher self, the collective consciousness good of all. What does it want to say? Okay, so we have forgiveness at the bottom of the deck. So possibly something to forgive. Because if you notice on this card, the sun and moon are very potent symbolism, right? In a lot of the mystery schools and all kinds of cool things. But anyway, and the moon is what's like taking precedence here, right? The sun is sort of being blocked in this underground sort of cave, if you will. So forgiveness, we'll switch that around. Okay, that's at the root also. But let's look at your main cards. Okay. So where to switch things up? The Seven of Pentacles. Okay. Now this card I've designated to be like what you think it is versus basically like what the higher consciousness is saying it needs to happen. Okay, so you think it's prosperity. Okay. But source or universal, higher energy says sacral chakra. Okay. So I feel like these are somewhat in agreement. Okay. With the prosperity with the sacral chakra. So I don't think like you're missing the cues or anything like that. Because, sometimes I did a few practice reads before doing this spread. I just kind of made it up. And I wanted to see, how off some things were, right? So I feel like yours are pretty much in alignment here. And especially with the Seven of Pentacles. So the Seven of Pentacles, okay, what needs to be switched up? The Seven of Pentacles is definitely a card of, and we are going to do some tarot here, of, it's sort of like doing the work, but then stopping and like looking for the results. So possibly giving too much attention to the work that you are trying to, like too much thought, too much pressure, too much, while it isn't here yet, or, something like that, like tick-tock, the clock's ticking, where's my prosperity, that kind of thing. So what needs to be switched up is this sacral chakra card. So this says, it says the frequency of the sacral or sacral, however you want to say it, chakra. The orange flower of life supports our ability to flow with our desires and stimulates the creative power to manifest success and abundance in our lives. So definitely I would highly suggest reading up as much as you can on the sacral chakra, all right, first off, and like in balancing that for sure. The second thing, though, I would say is this important key phrase, that it supports our ability to flow with our desires. So this is definitely not flow, the Seven of Pentacles. So that's what needs to be switched up. Getting in flow with prosperity, not like, where is it? I put in this work. Where's my prosperity? Or what work do I need to do? It's not overthinking things. It's just getting in the flow with prosperity. So let's take a look at the tarot. Let's see what other information we can find as far as your how to switch things up for you. Okay. Aries, please. So the good news is like source is in agreement with you. So you're knowing like you need to switch things up as far as prosperity in your life, whether that means, prosperity doesn't just mean money, right? It means prosperous. You're right. So it's like Source is agreeing with you and saying, yes, that is true. And remember, forgiveness was at the bottom of the deck, so that could be a main part of this. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Oh, nice. Mm-hmm. Okay. So here's the thing. Yeah. You guys can definitely celebrate prosperity. It can happen for you. Okay, whatever that means for you. Prosperous life, right? You absolutely can. It is absolutely available to you. These two stick out to me big time. I'm basically looking at these 7 cards as the chakras. And that way we can kind of pinpoint. And it's funny that you actually got a chakra card come out, because this deck is not like all chakra cards. I mean, they're all in here, but I mean, there's only 7 chakras and there's a bazillion cards here. So, and this is absolutely like matching this message up here. I feel like you guys definitely have, like, you definitely want to rebuild yourself. You definitely want to come out of like a slump. All right. You're ready to do the work to rebuild yourself. You do feel like you can manifest. I feel like you do believe that. You do believe like you can, that you have the right stuff that it takes, you know, to change this circumstance in your life. However, here we go. We've got the 3rd chakra here that is like not really wanting to pay attention to these chakras. Your heart chakra is absolutely outstanding here. Okay, your heart chakra, you probably have an amazing giving nature. Regardless of if you are masculine or feminine, you have a very strong feminine nurturing aspect to your being. You do know how to grow things, how to nurture things. You're probably very good with that with others, okay? And possibly need to work on more of that for yourself. And that's most likely where this forgiveness. Yeah, look, wow, the next card is transition. So forgiveness, bringing that sun kind of to replace the moon energies. Moon energies can be deceiving, depressing. I mean, they can be powerful in good ways too, but in this, we're looking at it, you know, it's not working in tandem with the sun. It's holding the sun down. So forgiveness is absolutely a strong transition for you. And it may have something to do with, like forgiving yourself, you know, not necessarily all about others. 5th chakra, good. I feel like you're at home in, like, you communicate well, at least closely with others. You know, you do most likely desire a partnership or someone that's like-minded, that you can just flourish, prosper with that relationship, have things in common to speak about, to communicate about. So I do feel like that's absolutely possible for you, or maybe you even have that at you know, at this point. This one's a biggie. Okay, so your 5 of Pentacles showing up in your 6th chakra is to be, this is going to be key, to be very, like, watch out for what you are actually seeing in your life, like what you are actually visualizing in your life. Some of you need to really step up this chakra as far as, like, it's your 3rd eye chakra, basically. So in both ways, I feel. So mystically, you might be okay. Like, you might be able to visualize or have visualization experiences and things like that. But when it comes to physical earth, everyday, day-to-day things, the way you see the world is not looking very good here. So we have, you know, we've got to watch out that our selective bias isn't looking for things wrong in the world. So I would highly suggest, like, just even little things. Like, if you go to the grocery store and after you're done, you're like, oh my God, I can't believe those prices. I paid, you know, whatever, $12 for organic oranges, or, and then you like harp on about that. And even if it's in your head, or especially if it's to somebody else, we never want to do that type of stuff, because that's like affecting their energy, and karmically, that's definitely not a good place to be. So, but it's not good to do it in our heads either, like to ourselves. So instead of seeing the world as like, oh, there's just, it's lack, it sucks, there's not enough money, everybody's broken, instead of seeing the world like that, it's like practice visual, like looking for examples in the real world, right? Looking for examples of prosperity, of things that are good, of people helping others. Maybe you're out today and you see, a young man, help an elderly lady open the door or something like that, right? Like look for those things. Don't look for things that are wrong in the world, because I tell you, we'll find them. We'll find them all day long. We will find those things, but it works the other way around too. If we're looking for good in the world, we will find those all day long as well. So it definitely has a lot to do with how you are seeing and perceiving, and reflecting back like that image of the world. So your prosperity will absolutely, and especially if it has to do with money specifically, will absolutely improve once you start seeing the prosperity in the world, instead of looking at like, oh, there's lack, there's not enough. And I know that's difficult. Like maybe you live in a neighborhood where there is a lot of lack, or, it's really difficult to see prosperity, but we can see prosperity in other ways. We can see it in nature. We can see it in an abundant, fruit tree, or, we can look for it in different ways. So I would highly suggest, working on sacral chakra, solar plexus chakra, and your visualization when it comes to prosperity. I feel like, if it's a soulmate you're looking for, if it's just more money or prosperity or a partner, like-minded partner, those things can absolutely be yours. All of those things can be yours. A great like-minded relationship and prosperity. It's the Empress, right? So that's what I have for you. Let's go to Taurus. So how to switch things up. Taurus. What do we have for you? How to switch things up. Okay, self-love is showing at the bottom of the deck. Always very, very helpful. All right, kind of the key to everything. All right, let's see what we got here. Eight of Pentacles, okay. Romantic love, interesting. Okay, this is a really interesting one already. Okay, and crown chakra. All right, so this one's pretty straightforward. And we are going to do the tarot momentarily, but we're looking at how to switch things up, because, this is a reading for if you need to switch things up, in some area of your life, but possibly you don't know exactly what it is, or, so we're basically checking with source, like what's up. So this card represents what you think it is, what you think you need to switch up. Okay. And this card represents what your higher self, all right, like the true, like collective of higher energies of your, because I can't do individual, right, because it's a general reading, but the true collective higher self is saying, no, it's the crown chakra. So let's look at this, because your main card here is the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles is a card of working on oneself. It can be business, also working on one's business. It like physical business, right? If you own your own business, or you have a talent in something that you're wanting to bring to light as a business, it can be that kind of card. It can also be, though, just working on oneself, physically, spiritually. So the Eight of Pentacles is like putting the work in to something. So you may be thinking it's romantic love that is what's going to switch things up. But this is saying, no, it's wisdom. Wisdom is what's going to switch things up. So like really tuning in and hearing from your higher consciousness, as an individual and as a collective also, because typically crown chakra wisdom is a collective. That's why, people tend to have ideas around the same time, because there's this sort of stuff floating around out there. And, if you're in tune to it, you're going to pick it up. If you're not, well, somebody else does, So there's something here about like you may be feeling like you need to just keep putting in, like a lot of work towards yourself, your physical body, your spiritual self, all those things. Yes, all those things are very beneficial. However, what really is your answer here is the crown chakra. So let's read this real quick. It says the frequency of the crown chakra, the violet flower of life, supports our spiritual connection to the universe and our ability to transmute negative energy into light. Transmuting negative energy into light. And I'll point out, it's funny, this happened in Aries reading as well, but there's only 7 chakra cards. And out of this, like, there's a bazillion cards in here that I'm using. So it's very intriguing that you've got like the highest chakra card showing up in your reading. So this is absolutely something to look at. So you may think, well, if I had a partner in life, or when will I find my soulmate, or when, and those are valid things. That's what you may feel is going to switch up your life. But universe is saying, no, it's this. It's getting into that flow of spiritual connection to the universe. Putting in the work physically, mentally, spiritually. That's what's going to switch things up. All right. So let's get the tarot. Let's see what else we can add to this. I would say too, if you're like me and over the age of 50, I mean, most of you aren't. Most of you are younger, according to my statistics anyway. But like, if you're over the age of 50, especially this, because it's like, not that this shouldn't be, enjoyed or explored or something along those lines, but there's a time in life like that's good to just sort of quiet down and explore these types of things. And, later in life is good for that. When we're young, it's time for this stuff. When we have a lot of activity, a lot of action, a lot of chi, just kind of, rambling around, then, it's good to be in this energy. It's good to explore these things. It's good to explore business, finance, passions and work, all those things. But once we get, towards like our later stages in life, it's good to take time to glean wisdom and utilize that as well. I don't know why I felt compelled to say that, but there we go. Okay. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. Oh, my. Oh boy. And see, it's like, that's the divine love. That is the divine love right there. That is absolutely it. And that's your crown chakra. Because I'm looking at these as the chakras, but I'm also looking at them as a story at the same time, kind of in a double way. So it's like, I mean, clearly, I would say, like, your higher chakras are very, like, full of energy. Like that you can pull a lot from your 5th, 6th, and 7th chakra. So by that, if you're not familiar with what chakras are, it's like the way you communicate, the way that you see the world is very childlike. It's very innocent. It's very helpful. Very charming. Okay, now that might not be all the time. All right, because honestly, I don't know a Taurus in the world that looks quite frankly. But it's like, but I do know Tauruses who have, they do actually. I think secretly inside they are like this. They just don't present that on the outer front. And then we have this Ace of Cups here, which is like the crown chakra. Look at this wisdom. This actually does happen out of the crown chakra, by the way. So it's like you have the potential to tap into this very like fun, youthful, social energy here. And it's fun, it's flirty, it's adventurous, it's friends, it's real. It's real. It is self-love. However, like so your first chakra, third, fourth, wow. Okay, they need some work. Okay, in this energy here, because they're not clearly this is not a good flowing balance here. So I imagine we're going to see this card coming out a lot in these readings, because it is sort of a lack consciousness. It's a not asking for help when we need help, and this is in your heart chakra. So you may feel like where's the love, man? Where's the love? You may have this could be deep rooted abandonment type energy. It can feel like lonely and like no one is out there, no one cares, or no one, will help you. Like if you really needed help, who would help me? Kind of thing. It's a very lack vitality type of card, and it's showing up in your fourth chakra, and your fourth chakra is tied into self-love and, to me personally as a reader, of the Ace of Cups. So there's definitely some things that need to happen in that way. So it's like it's not romantic love that needs to be switched up, it's self-love, doing the work on self. Eight of Pentacles, physically, mentally, spiritually. When I say physically, I mean the physical world. All right, the things that would generate self-love in a physical world. That means like enough money for yourself. It means taking care of your physical body, to a reasonable, extent, right? Mental health, and then spiritual health, right? All those things. That's the Eight of Pentacles. So I do feel like yours, like you could be having an amazing time. I feel like you could have great friends. You could have great flirty situations, or dating, or trying, or finding true love here. Okay, if that is one of your goals. But all this has to change. So your lower chakras, I would highly suggest reading about your first, second, third, and fourth chakras, and understanding how, like, what those mean and what they represent. Because I do feel like there's hidden resentments here, possibly about some of you may have went to school for something and that did not pan out, and there could be some hidden resentments about that. Or possibly you didn't go to you're thinking, oh, I should have studied that. And if I would have done that, then, oh my God, I would have had everything. There's something here that you're resenting, possibly about school or like a degree or something like that. I do feel like that could play a role for many of you. I also feel, too, there could even be something about children in particular that you may feel saddled with, in some way. So there could be that energy, which I don't know. I don't feel like that's probably a feminine message. It would probably be more of a masculine message. So I do see that. I'm not that, feminines couldn't feel that way, but I don't know. It feels like there could be some kind of masculine energy. Also to a masculine energy that may feel like they didn't get the opportunity to become financially what they could have because they were shunned from an opportunity in early life, something like that. There's a lot of different things that I see going on here, but whatever it is, it's deep psyche, subconscious stuff that it's like, I do feel like you have like the desire to change this, but it's more about getting in the flow with your wisdom, because you have that in spades, and getting in flow with the lighter side of things for yourself. Okay, and allowing lighter things rather than only looking at the past and allowing like deeper depressions and things like that to take hold. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing there. All right, so that is Taurus. We're on to Gemini. Yeah, Gemini, please tell me about Gemini. How to switch things up. How to switch things up, Gemini. Okay. Interesting. You got a lot of cards here. Okay. Let's see what we got. Gemini. How to switch things up. Okay, so you have the Two of Wands. Okay, make a decision. Okay, and look, it's a cobra. What do cobras do? They strike, right? They're quick. They strike. So the Two of Wands, it's interesting to use that as a pictorial on the Two of Wands, because the Two of Wands is definitely not like a, kind of card, like a tower card might be, or, something like that. The Two of Wands typically represents, like, we have two ways to go. So what do you see? What do you see in your world? Which one do you want to choose? So it's basically about a card of, kind of defining your passion and what you actually see or would like to see in your world, and then making that choice and that decision to only choose things that go in that direction. All right, so let's see. This side is representing what you think needs to be switched up versus what higher self feels needs to be switched up. So let's see. Self-love, okay, and the Death card. So like letting something go. All right, so you feel it needs to be like letting something go, because the Death card is about letting something go that needs to go so that you can rebuild yourself. All right, it's Plutonian energy in nature. So it's like the planet Pluto. So it's basically destruction, rebirth. All right. So that's probably somewhat, but let's see what your other cards say. Okay, so here's the interesting thing. It's not that, okay, these are not like an extreme opposite, like this is what you think it is, and Source is saying, oh man, no, you're way off track. That's not even close to what it is. These are pretty close, but there's a caveat to this that I think is going to be very helpful for you. So it's not necessarily about like cutting cords, letting, the Death card is it's Scorpio in nature. So it's very, cut something off and then rebirth. Okay. That's possibly what you are thinking needs to happen. Like I'm imagining many of you thinking like, oh, I need to learn how to cut the cord. Okay. This is saying, well, okay, yeah, it's not that that's so far off, but it's about forgiveness. Because this is affecting your past, present, and future. Okay. Also, look at this, delight. Okay. So it's like, this is what Spirit is saying, like needs to be switched up. You need to find like delight, all right, in the past, in the present, and in the future. And that's exactly like I was talking about the Two of Wands. It's like making that choice of what you want to see in your world. So it's like you want to see delight, I would assume, in your world. So we need to start seeing it then in the past, in the present, and in the future. So we can't just let this situation be our past. No matter how significant it is, it could be a major breakup. It could be a major disappointment. It could be a major loss, of a loved one, something like that. I mean, these, you're thinking like to to cleanse, cry and all of this stuff, right? To cleanse this energy and to free your heart. And not bad. I mean, this is necessary. This is good energy to recognize. But I feel like what needs to shift now, what needs to change, is that now it's time, because chances are you've probably already done quite a bit of this. So now it's time to make a decision. What do you want to see in your world going forward? And forgiveness is going to help in this situation. So no more concentrating on this or thinking that this is what still needs to happen. Because I guarantee you, I mean, we can cleanse with those tears. We can cut cords 50 million times, right? We can do all those things. But really what's going to switch things up or move us forward is when we just forgive the situation. We don't make it the only defining thing about our past. We do look for moments, that we can remember of delight, not necessarily with this situation. All right. Maybe, but it's like we remember other things aside from this situation that gave us delight in the past. So even if this is like a relationship, let's say, it's like, I'm not saying, go back and look at the delightful times you had in the relationship. Okay, maybe, that's sometimes, I mean, it depends on if it was a positive or a negative experience, right? If it's been a negative experience where you feel you have to cut cords and this relationship is no longer energetically good for you, then no, I don't really suggest going back and looking at the delightful times in that. All right. Not that, they don't exist. It's just, why give that more energy or energetic, ties? Instead, look for times in your life where, aside from this situation, that you found delight. All right. Maybe it was through some kind of fun project, or maybe it was, something fun at the park with friends, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, look for other things. Now, if it was a nice experience and it's been difficult and sad and, to let go of or something like that, then of course, look for the delight in those things as well. All right. And so we can do that, like forgiveness, right? And of anything, and then move forward in our past, present, and future. So let's get the tarot. Let's see what else. So now it's about choosing delight in your life and striking like a cobra, all right? And making that decision. I like that cobra. It's cool looking. Okay, Gemini, please. What's going on, Gemini? What else for Gemini? Yay. Okay, all right. So the good news, Gemini, is whatever the situation is, you are definitely like handling it well. All right. You may not, you may realize that, you may not, I'm not sure. I think you probably do. You are handling things on this base level very well. So in the physical world, you have given deep reflection to things. You have kind of realized, what a situation is, and you are like ready to move forward in confidence towards switching things up, which is what we're talking about. So here's the thing, okay, because I'm looking at this as like basically your chakras, but I'm also looking at it in a different way too. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So if you don't know about the chakras, it's fine, because, we'll deliver the message either way. But, I encourage you to learn a little bit about what they represent. But anyway, so I would say, obviously, then fifth and sixth chakras need some work. Okay. I'm sorry, seventh as well. So your higher chakras, okay, in this way. And by higher, that doesn't mean like better or, anything like that. It's just the way that they move up the physical self in, the centers in the spine. So anyway, So basically, I feel like you're on the right track. You're gaining confidence. You're ready to manifest new things. You're ready to let go of like an older cycle, and you have actually learned like why that disappointed you. You know, you have learned from that experience. But now you're ready to move forward. So I would say with the fifth, sixth, and seventh, these are showing up as like weaker points. So the fifth chakra is about this part. I think is fine because it is your card, Gemini. It is assigned to Gemini, and honestly, actually, I think your fifth chakra is probably fine because it's being done with something, like exhausted of thinking about it, exhausted of that mind chatter in your head about it, and not even really wanting to communicate about it anymore. Okay, you're exhausted, you're done. Like, you can't be hurt anymore from this situation. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know, I'm over it. I don't even want to deal with it, think about it. It's not a bury your head in the sand. It's a, like, you're done. So chances are you do not want to communicate with this person anymore. You don't really want to have an open line of communication with them, something along those lines, if it's a negative experience for you. If it's a positive, you know, like this, again, maybe, you know, for some, this could have been, you know, I don't want to sully something either for you. If it was a loss of a person or something like that, well, then you may be having it, you know, a very difficult time communicating to anyone, like how you're truly feeling about that loss. So I would suggest maybe just, you know, working on your heart a little bit more as far as getting the confidence to talk with others about who this was to you and that sort of thing. But for most of you, I think it's more like breakup energy and it's like non-communicado. That's good. But I would say then with the sixth and seventh chakras, so these are the ones that are standing out as really needing work. This is your visualization and this is your wisdom, okay? Like your crown chakra, your ability to tap into like your highest guide, your highest wisdom. It's kind of, I feel like that's blocked for you right now because you are possibly still holding resentments about like how something you visualized, right, is like not happening or didn't happen or didn't come true. Because the Five of Cups is disappointment. It's like regret. Sometimes it's like shame. It's, you know, it's 50 million things and none of them like really, you know, super positive. It's hard to see the love in a situation or that there could be love in your future when we're just focused on like everything that spilled, everything that went wrong. It's like this cloak of invisibility in life, you know, like, oh, I feel so invisible or no one cares or no one understands, you know, those types of things. So unfortunately, that's showing up in your sixth chakra, which is how you visualize. All right. And what we visualize is oftentimes like what we are creating, you know, as an experience in our lives. So we don't want to visualize like seeing the world as depressed, sad, sorrowful, nothing ever works out, everybody's broken, everybody's sad, you know, things like that. All right. Everybody's tired and worn out and, you know, full of resentments. You know, we don't want to see the world that way. So I would suggest to stop looking for examples of that. All right. So in other words, you know, if you watch movies that are highly like melodramatic or where they're sad or there's loss, you know, or something, or there's a character in a TV show you're watching and that's like their basis or something, you know, it's like, then stop watching that, right? Look for somebody who's, you know, look for something in your entertainment field that is going to be more viewing things in a positive way, in a go-get-it way, you know, that kind of deal. Also, too, like just around, like your friends, your coworkers, your family members, you know, don't look for sadness. Like, oh, so-and-so's so depressed. You know, oh, you know, what a shame that didn't work. You know, things like that. Like, don't look for things like that. Look for the love that could change their life in the future. And I'm not talking about romantic love necessarily, maybe, you know, but it's like look for positive things. Don't dwell on the hung head low stuff or hidden resentments or, well, that never works out. Nothing ever works out. nothing ever will work out. Don't look for things to confirm that. Look for the opposite. Look for people who things do work out. Look for those examples. It might annoy you a little bit right now, or it might make you jealous a little bit right now, but still look at those examples, because they do. Things do work out for people. People do find good relationships, healthy relationships. People do find, great careers, or, whatever this is, whatever things that you may feel like down about the world in general. So again, we're looking, your source is saying right here, you think it's this. Source is saying, no, it's time to look for delight in the past, the present, and the future. All right. And forgive this situation as much as possible. Let that be done. Exhausted of thinking about it, done. All right, because you have really great cards here. You're climbing the totem pole here. So this is your next step to work on these higher chakras. Okay, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Communication, like honest communication. And that means the communication going on in your head. We have to silence that self-critic. All right. It also means, communication with others from a very good, honest way. Again, I feel like you're doing that pretty well, but it's still kind of lumped in here, right? Where we do have to, you're on your way to tackling these chakras right now confidently, so you can do it. So get your visualization, how you see the world. Start changing that. Don't look for problems. Don't look for sadness. All right. And also don't block or resent wisdom when it comes through. All right, so that's what I'm seeing there. All right, so we're on to Cancers. Cancers, let's see. How do Cancers need to switch it up? Okay. Switching it up, Cancers. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay. Aw. Universal love. Love it. Okay. Let's see. 6 of Cups. Okay. Now, this card represents... We're going to talk about this, all right, as far as what to switch up. This card represents what you think it is that you need to kind of switch up in your life, or what would make a difference, or, something along those lines, right? And then this card represents what your actual, like, more higher universal love, energy is saying, no, let's do this, or maybe it agrees. Okay, so let's see. So we have creativity. And Gaia. Interesting. Okay. Six of Cups. Creativity. Okay. I think you're on the right track. Actually, okay, that's why it was taking me a minute, because I'm pleasantly surprised here. Okay, I feel like you are in match here of like what you do need to switch up is absolutely correct. And one of those things, all right, we'll talk about the 6 of Cups in a moment, but these cards here, I feel like you are feeling like you want to switch things up creatively, but also in a universal love kind of way. Like you want to creatively do something, like work or have a relationship or something like that with someone who it's like you complement their cup, or you work with others, creatively. Okay. Especially with Gaia here. Because, let's see, the Gaia card, it says, the frequency of Gaia reminds us that we are infinitely connected to one another, just as we are to our great mother and to the universe that birthed us all. So, big mother aspect coming out here, all right, which is creative, nurturing. And we're talking about infinitely connected to one another. just as we are to our great mother. In other words, like I'm a big fan of saying like that all the people, on this planet, they're all our brothers and sisters. I mean, if we do believe in some sort of creator, God, right, that created us, then that would mean we're all the children of God. So technically, we're all brothers and sisters. And with this universal love card, I feel like this is absolutely saying, yes, what you want to switch up is in alignment. Now, the Six of Cups is interesting because it's not a Cancerian card, but yet there is like a crab on here. Let me see if I get anything else from this. Hold on. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to pull your tarot and I'm going to see exactly like what this is referring to. I mean, Six of Cups in tarot is typically a nostalgia card. You can represent, oh, that's interesting. I was about to say, so it can also represent siblings, our brothers and sisters. Interesting. Okay. All right, let me get a little bit more though here for you. Okay, Cancers. So I feel like this is your message is that like you may be feeling this urge right now to switch things up and be more creative in your life. Maybe some of you are feeling that urge to be more creative, whether it be through the arts or creating, new things, new energies. New beliefs, things like that. That can be creativity as well. But you're wanting to do it in a way that is like complementary with not just yourself, but with others, with your brothers and sisters, which I think is a beautiful, beautiful energy. So you are absolutely being supported in that idea here. Okay, Cancers. Oh, look at that. Because I was going to say, this card kind of reminds me of the Three of Cups. Which is is it Cancer? Let's see, yeah, it is a Cancer card. Yeah, Moon and Cancer, I think. I'm not, no, not Moon and Cancer, that's Four of Cups. I can't remember. Anyway, Three of Cups is a Cancerian card. And look, you have Three of Cups here. Beautiful. Oh, okay, there it is. Nice. Speaking of Four of Cups, okay. Wow, Cancers. You're being called, Cancers, to create, like co-create, create in a harmonious way that involves others. Okay, you are absolutely, that's how to switch it up. Now, if some of you are just here like, oh, well, how do I switch up my relationship? Or, or, should I date this person or that person? You may glean something absolutely from this reading, from the things I'm about to say, but I'm going to look at this in a deeper way for you guys. Because basically what I've done here is I put out 7 cards. I'm basically looking at the chakras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you don't understand the chakras or know exactly which ones stand for what, no worries. You don't need to know that for this reading. Chances are you do. But if you don't, it's not a worry. We're going to talk about the energies and things that do need to be switched up. And I mean, there's a couple that are standing out to me big time here. Okay, first of all, you have 3 major arcana cards showing up in your chakras, which is awesome, and they're pretty kick-ass. All right, this is high metaphysical choices. This is your intuition, very feminine, goddess type connection to, well, not God, I'm like connection to like spirit, connection to intuition, the higher realms, right? Or the mysterious realms. And you also have the Hermit, which is more of like that energy, but here on the earth plane. So you have some really cool cards, and you're absolutely capable of so much here, Cancers, from what I'm seeing. So, I mean, this is the huge one that stands out, I would say, the most, because it's right smack in the middle. Even though some of these other ones are important as well, this one really stands out because it's the Three of Swords, and it's in the heart chakra. It's literally, you're getting a heart pictorial in the heart chakra, but it's got swords through it, and rain and clouds, right? So, that's that's not where we want to be. So I would say, the Three of Swords is definitely an energy of needing to recognize, like, why we get disappointed, why we are heartbroken, why we feel like our heart chakra isn't attracting abundant love into our lives. And that doesn't necessarily mean, again, a romantic relationship. Abundant love can be all kinds of things. So this would absolutely be a huge one to work on. The heart chakra is absolutely, hands down, connected to self-love. All right, so it's nurturing. It is self-love. Cancers, right? You are kind of associated with the word nurturing many times. And it's true. Cancers can be nurturing to others. But it's only true nurturing when we have that same gusto for ourselves. And if we don't, then it's just martyrdom. So all that nurturing for others is really just a martyrdom. Unless it's coming from a pure source of nurturing yourself first, we can't nurture others like in a high way. So there's definitely something here to take a look at as far as like recognizing why we are in disappointment and learning, growing, intuitively moving away from that energy, to higher ways in which we can cultivate more healing of the heart. And that starts with, again, ourselves. Actually, I was thinking this one was kind of a big deal because the Hermit's shining a light on it, but I kind of get where that's going. So I think you're fine. Like in these lower, like the first, second, third chakras, I do feel like you are ready to move forward. I feel like you have the wisdom, absolutely, to move forward. Now it's really just time to like work with others, find others in the same creative space as you, the same creative heart space, goal space, things like that. So I would say it's definitely a time to again, cultivate very positive relationships and positive influences that are built around universal love, not just selfish things, and stuff like that. It's time to, this is more of a co-creating energy for you. And I don't think you are selfish. I didn't mean that, but I mean, don't entertain others who are either in your field right now. It's good to be around like-minded people is what I'm seeing. I also feel, okay, so you have the High Priestess here in 5th chakra. So I feel like you are very able to communicate with Source, with your own intuition, with your higher mysterious realms of subconscious and all of that. Some of you may easily tap into the Akashic records or different things along those lines. You are discovering that, or you already know that, so keep doing that. As far as connecting with your kind of mysterious intuition, your intuition, not like Stella Mackey's Love Works or other 50 million tarot readers, right? It's like connecting with your intuition, and you are very, very capable at doing that. Very much so. Some of you might make excellent, like tarot readers or psychics or, something along those lines as well. With the 6th chakra and the 7th chakra. Okay, so the 6th chakra is like basically like how we visualize things, right? It's the projection that we are accepting and working with. So I would say with the Lover's card, that's a good card. I like the Lover's card because to me it feels like a metaphysical high vibrational choice being made. And so it looks like you're leaning towards that. So metaphysical, high vibrational choices in your life. I think that's great. Now, here's the one, though, that's like kind of concerning, the more concerning one, because the Four of Cups, I got this out of, I think it was like when I first started learning tarot. Well, probably not when I first started reading, but I think it was when I started refreshing myself again on tarot. And I got one of those like Tarot for Dummies books or something like that. And I remember the description they gave for this, and it's always stuck with me because I think it's excellent. It's like literally the hand of God handing you this golden cup from nowhere, from out of the sky. Like, here you go. Here you go, Cancers. Here's a golden cup, but you don't even see it. You're too focused on these other things. And it's like, here's the thing too. Again, some of you really want to co-create, or you want to be a part of this like universal love. You want to do something like of that feels purposeful and meaningful, not just, to a couple people or, to a collective. Okay. But the thing is, it's like you're so focused on that you're not seeing that it starts with the self-love, the golden cup. So it's like, the thing is, I feel like you will be an unstoppable force of amazing wealth of knowledge, wealth of intuition, wealth of universal contribution, if you can recognize this self-love. And instead of focusing on, oh, I need to work with this person or that person or this person or that person, or get into this group or that group, and, that kind of thing. It's like, no, you just need to notice that golden cup that's like right there from your highest crown chakra. Your wisdom is literally being handed to you and saying, hey, look at me, look at me. So I do feel like recognize the opportunities that are around you, for one. Okay. Some of you may not be very good at like believing in opportunities. Like, opportunities may show up, but you may feel like, something else is distracting you in your life. You just can't take that good opportunity right now. All right. For some of you, it may be that, but for most of you, I feel like it's like, you're not seeing that it's like your self-love is like what is absolutely needed here to bring this all together for you. To recognize, why are you disappointed? Why? And we don't want to get lost in the why. We don't want to do, 5 years of shadow work here, and nothing like that. But we want to use our wisdom and our intuition to see, like, okay, why am I not being fulfilled? Why am I entering into disappointing situations? So by asking those questions, again, we don't want to get lost in them, but by asking those questions, then that will lead us to answers. Ask and ye shall know, whatever, that leads us to answers. So, you'll recognize a pattern, of something. And that's exactly what you need to cultivate more self-love. Like, oh yeah, you know what? I see that pattern in myself. I don't want to do that anymore. That just leads to disappointments. Well, okay, there you go. Score 1 for self-love. So that's what I'm seeing. It's a beautiful reading, Cancers. I feel there's just amazing potential here. And it's like, this is what to switch up for sure. All right. So let's go to, let's see, that was Cancers. We're on to Leo. Okay, Leo, please. Tell me about Leos. What needs to be switched up for Leos, please? Okay, I'm hearing the song The Wall by Pink Floyd in my head. And don't get me wrong, I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan, but like, that's not a song that like I'm going to go to, right? It's like, there's so many far superiors. Oh, I mean, it's a great song. Don't get me wrong. It's just, kind of, we got tired of it in the 80s, I'd say. But yeah, I'm hearing, all in all, just another brick in the wall and all that. So some of you are feeling possibly like that. Okay. And what is it okay. Thank you. Third eye chakra. Interesting. Okay. So we're getting a lot of chakra cards coming out. That's very intriguing because I keep saying, because Aries had a chakra card, Taurus had a chakra card, and now Leo having one, that, you know, there's a ton of cards here and they're not all like chakra cards. There's only 7 chakras. So, you know, it's like, it's kind of crazy. All right. So let's see what needs to be switched up. Okay. So we have 6 of Pentacles. So Taurus may be specific for you, Taurus energy. So even like, oh, my boyfriend's a Taurus, you know, it may have something to do with them, but it's more like the energy of Taurus. All right. So might be very strong or prominent or awakening for you right now. But let's see what, okay. So these cards represent here what you think needs to be switched up. And this is what source is saying needs to be switched up. Okay, so let's see what you think needs to be switched up. Your consciousness, okay, and retreating into your consciousness. Okay, I think you're right. Okay, I think these match. I think you are on the right track as far as I feel these are complementary. Because the third eye chakra does have a lot to do with like retreating into our consciousness at times. So not always, but you know, it does definitely can be complementary of that. So let's see, because you have the card retreat. It's hard to see the lettering on the card, but it says retreat. Okay. 6 of Pentacles is oftentimes like about our expression of receiving, giving, balance in those directions. A lot of times it can have something to do with money. It doesn't have to, but it can have something to do with money. But mostly it has a lot to do with just basic, you know, karma, our actions of how, you know, what we receive, what we give, what we receive. You know, it's very much tied into that. So let's get the tarot and see what else we need to say here. So absolutely, I do feel like you guys are absolutely correct, you know, that to switch something up in order to be more in the balance of the physical world, there are times we need to retreat into our consciousness, meditate perhaps, you know, things like that, but really visualize. So meditation will help, retreating into your consciousness or consciousness subjects. Absolutely. Those things will help. But what's really, like, you know, the source is saying here, what's really going to be switching things up for you is third eye chakra work. So let's read this before we do the tarot cards. It says the frequency of the third eye chakra, the indigo flower of life, supports our intuition and our inner knowing, our imagination, and our psychic powers. So definitely getting imaginative and about what you are visualizing will be very, very helpful for you. Okay, so let's see. Tell me more about Leo, please. How to switch things up. How to switch things up as far as those who are watching the Leo sign here, please. Okay. All right. Let's see. Oh boy. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So we have this balance theme again. Interesting. Bottom of the deck, 6 of Pentacles. Interesting. Between the Emperor and the Empress. All right. So the balance between masculine and feminine. All right. Very strong in your reading here. Interesting. Okay, hold on here. So the third eye chakra, Hermit. And we have retreat, Hermit. Okay, visualizing like yourself working on something is a really good thing for you guys. Like to really like visualize on like any little bit of effort that you do towards something is ultimately adding up. All right. Whether that be in regards to money, it could be money in the physical world here, or making efforts in your physical health, or or your mental well-being, whatever. It's like whatever it is, or spiritual work. Absolutely. Mental, physical, spiritual, whatever it is that you kind of chip away, and you do a little bit of this and that and the other, and it's like, just keep doing that, because before you realize it, it's like the student becomes the master. And so absolutely, I do feel like that, like visualizing that the efforts and works of whatever it is that you are putting into, all right, most people are putting effort into something in their lives, whether it be physical, mental, spiritual, hopefully all three, but whatever it is, it's like, visualize that actually like working for you, visualize it as balancing your life and contributing and receiving, things like that. There's a big emphasis here on balance, all right, for sure. Because these cards are at the bottom of the deck. We have the scales here. You have the Six of Pentacles here, which is the same card, just in a different deck, okay? So twice you have this card. So it's got a strong emphasis on the balancing of scales. All right, the balancing of the feminine, the masculine, the balance of the intuition and the physical world works, of things that we do. You also have this like balance card here showing up in your crown chakra. All right, so it's like, I do feel like there's an infinity loop going on here. We're definitely going to see how to improve that crown chakra as well. And this is a huge red flag. Also, I'm not too worried about the Knight of Swords, because I feel like you've moved past that. I feel like before you were very fight or flight, and very impulsive. And I'm not just saying that because you're Leos or a fire sign or anything like that, but it's a big impulsiveness showing up in the root chakra energy, right? But now I feel like it's more of a well-directed impulsiveness, but just still not with the flavor of success behind it. So in some way, like you guys like may feel like, what's the use? I take massive action and then nothing happens, or something like that. I feel like this is saying that like massive action isn't really your friend. It's kind of like the way the world is going right now, right? Since we're out of Pluto and Capricorn now, we're seeing a lot less of those, oh, you got to take massive action, and oh, you got to grind, and oh, and the big influencers, it's like that was so Capricornian. Very like ego-based, stuff. Now we're moving more Pluto Aquarius. It's going to be, not so much that stuff anymore. So if there's anything left of that hustle grind, that kind of bombarded us for the past, I don't know how many years it was. It's like, it's time to change consciousness, and start visualizing in a different way. So it's like, it's not hustle grind and all those things anymore. And it's not so much about, manifesting mansions and cars and, things like that. So I do feel like you have a ton of wisdom. All right. So use that wisdom to visualize improvement for yourself, happiness for yourself. I feel like you have an amazing heart. You have the 10 of Cups in the heart chakra section. It's like, that you deserve like to feel this comfort, this love, this companionship, whether it be friends, family, a relationship. You absolutely deserve that. And you have the capacity, like you make an excellent partner. Like you understand like what is quality in any type of relationship. So absolutely good there. But I do feel it's your sort of hustle grind consciousness of impulsiveness, possibly something like that. And then, oh, nothing works out. And there's something here where I feel like the Hermit is saying, no, just keep chipping away. Just keep chipping away. Just put in the work and visualize your work as going up, up, up. Now, again, work could mean your job and your career or your passion, hobby, or your business or whatever. But it's also, again, physical, mental, spiritual work that we put into things. So, like if it's a relationship, if you want the Ten of Cups, you want to have a soulmate, a relationship, this like beautiful Ten of Cups, then like every little thing that you do towards choosing that type of energy, like visualize that as being amazing. Like, okay, that little bit of work I did today, on visualizing my ideal situation or partner or something like that is leading to results. It's climbing that totem pole, so it's like, make sure you're putting in like that visualization work. Stop seeing things as like, oh, well, I took this action and nothing happened. Stop seeing things like that. It's probably because it was too impulsive, or it just wasn't the right action. It's just not the right person for you, or it wasn't the right job for you, or, it wasn't the right way of thinking for you, or, something like that. So don't let that hold you back. And really, I would also say to, use mantras of like safety would be good. Also mantras of removing obstacles, maybe Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha, something like that. For, Ganesha, the Ganesha mantra, you can just look that up. Or or just making up your own mantra, like, I am safe. I think things through. I have plenty of time to make high, good decisions. Something like that. Like, create your own kind of mantra, I would say. And everything that I do is gold. Everything that I do is moving upward and moving me closer, to what I envision my life should be. Yeah, that last thing I just said. I don't know what that was. Just 10-second it back, and you can hit that 10-second button on your phone, on the left, and hear that again, because whatever that was important. Okay, so seventh chakra, the thing is, it's like with the, I do feel like your wisdom is becoming heavy for you. So I do feel like you need to release some of your wisdom in some way. So that could be in communication with others. It doesn't mean like we go preach to somebody or, try to fix their lives or, not that in that kind of way, but it's like, we can release our wisdom in many different ways, just, less is more. I'm a fan of, at time. Well, I should take a cue from my own book, but I'm a fan of that when like others, have given that to me, because I am a mentally busy person, right? So like when I meet others that are about like less is more, man, it's like there's so much that I can glean from, just one or two sentences sometimes that people say. So I don't know, there's something here about needing to like kind of unburden, like I feel like you have like knowledge now, so it's like it's time to sort of untwist the infinity loop here and like release some of what you keep juggling back and forth. All right, like it needs to have like an outlet in some way, because you are wise. All right, so that's what I am seeing for you, Leo. All right. Yeah, Virgo, please. How to switch it up. What needs to be switched up, how to switch it up, that sort of thing. All right, Virgos, please. All right. Okay, so Virgos, basically, what we're going to look at here is this card is going to represent what you think needs to be switched up in your life, all right? And kind of versus, or maybe they're compatible, what like really does need to be switched up in your life according to like a higher cosmic consciousness, okay? Oh, wow, so you have the sun. Beautiful. Wow, look at that, the sun. So the sun, positivity, 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 shining, bright, cheerful, powerful. Everything grows under the sun. Okay, so let's see what you think you need to switch up. Psychic development. Okay. And let's see what like the cosmic universe, more energy is saying it needs to be switched up. Transition. Okay, I agree. Okay, so, but positively. Okay, because the psychic development card is a swan. Swan is like a very high spiritual symbolism. It is a symbolism of grace. And look, we even have the sun. Everything grows under the sun. And look at, the beautiful swan. Because you have transition here. So it's like transformational positivity, bringing things to light with grace. Okay, so let's see. What does this card say? It says the frequency of transition supports our deep understanding of the ever-changing nature of existence and our lives, so that we can learn to let go, surrender to the process, and allow transition to occur with ease and grace. Literally says grace there. And we were just talking about the swan. Hamsa, right? Okay. Yeah, I feel like this is an excellent time in your life to incorporate very, like where it says psychic development, it's weird. I feel like a little mismatch with that. Um, because sometimes people get a stigma with that, like a psychic, like you have to wear a scarf and earrings and you know what I'm saying, and read tarot cards or whatever. It's like psychic development, but with grace. We're talking about developing our intuition, basically. So that may be what it is. Okay, so you may be looking at things like I feel like you know that you need to kind of switch things up in that way. But it's like you may feel like, well, how can I do that though in a graceful way? So you may be looking at things that like you're not finding yet. It's like you don't want anything too metaphysical. You don't want anything too this or that or the other. Or there's a certain like beautiful blend you're looking for, something like that. I would say definitely the softer energies of spirituality will help you to develop any, like, I don't think you need help necessarily. You're probably extremely psychic already. But it's like you utilizing that energy in a positive light to aid you with different transitions in your life and doing that gracefully. Okay, let me get the rest of the tarot cards and then we'll talk about this some more. Okay. So positivity for many of you, like if you've been in a negative juncture for a while or tend to have a selective bias in a negative way, like looking for issues, looking for problems, looking for what's wrong, looking to fix this or that or the other, then you probably most likely need to incorporate more positivity and light, because I just keep hearing that phrase, everything grows under the sun. Everything grows equally under the sun too. I think that's more what the Latin phrase. I can't remember the phrase, but something along those lines. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, all right. Really, the sun twice. Hmm. Oh, okay. So what I see here, Virgo, is I see a strong, like, root. I see a strong confidence. Because I'm basically looking at these as the chakras, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But I'm also looking at them in a different way as well. So it's okay if you don't understand exactly which chakras mean what. We'll talk about the energy of the reading. But I feel like you guys do come from a strong base of confidence, whether that's recent or kind of always been with you. I'm not sure. But it's like you are definitely ready to change things in your life. You may be feeling you need like more grace, or it needs to be psychically, magically given, or something like that. And yeah, part of that is true. That's the thing, is to realize that the sun nurtures everything on this planet. Everything, like, again, that phrase just a million times over, just I feel like it needs to be drilled in, that everything grows under the sun. The flowers, our food, us, vitamin D, whatever, it's like everything grows under the sun. And sun is also a symbolism for positivity, power, a lot of things, esoterically also. But, it's like basically it is, it's the sun. It's bright. It's happy. It's joyful, those types of things. It's daylight. It's, all that. So there's something here about, like, you have the confidence. I feel like many of you really want to move into like a very stable relationship, or if it's like possibly romantic, like a marriage or something like that, or it's like build something of value. All right. So it's probably one or the other, maybe both. Hopefully, both is nice. But there's something here where you, like, one of the roadblocks I see here possibly for you that needs to be switched up is you have the confidence, but you don't have confidence in others to see it. So I don't know if that makes sense. So let me phrase it in this way. So in other words, it's like going to a singles night or something like that. I don't know. Do they even have those things anymore? Speed dating, whatever. And it's like you're confident, walking in like, okay, I'm confident, but you're expecting the person or persons that you're going to meet with that day to not have interest in you. So even though you have this like weird kind of like, and it's not weird, I don't mean that in a critical way, but like this like confidence in yourself, you don't believe though that others see that in you. So, and the thing is, it's probably because you shine so bright, or have the potential to shine so bright, that you hold some of that back. I feel like you display your outward confidence, but you're not letting your energetic inner confidence shine. So, I mean, that's kind of deep and kind of heavy, but I have seen it in others before. And I think that is what's going on here. It's like you have like the outward swagger of confidence, right? But the inner confidence, you have that too, but you don't believe that others will recognize it. And that's like a huge thing to like work on, I feel. All right. 4th chakra, 5 of Cups. Not a good card, all right, to be in the 4th chakra energy. You have some great cards here, so, I'm not picking on you. Okay, but, let's we're looking at what to switch up. So it's interesting, both of these cards, which I would consider your, like, negative or, whatever, they're not negative, but the things that we need to look at, right, so that we can evolve them. Both of these cards, the head is hung low, and both are focused on, like, this one's focused on the spilled 3 cups, and this one is focused on the 3 cups. So both of these cards, this card is like feeling like there's missed opportunities all the time. feeling like, this is what you want, but, you just never get it. Or I'm not satisfied with what comes to me. Or, it's being dissatisfied when honestly, there's the perfect golden cup like right in front of you. But if we're focused on all the things that we wish we had, or that, this and that and the other, then we don't notice what's actually right in front of us. And this is kind of the same vibe, because like now now that's going to lead to disappointment. Those 3 cups that you thought were going to be your end all be all weren't. They spilled. Maybe it was a failed marriage, whatever, it could be 50 million thing, wasting time in a career, whatever, those types of things. It's like now those cups spilled. You thought that they were going to be your end all be all, and you rejected other things that maybe, were right in front of you, right? So we feel like there's a missed opportunity with these type of cards. Like, oh, this is what I really wanted, but oh well, I didn't get it. I was really confident when I went out on that date, but that person didn't see me for who I was. Oh, I'm sad. It could have been this, it could have been that, that kind of stuff. So it's like, it can become this pattern of always focusing on what goes wrong and how we're not getting our wishes fulfilled, instead of turning around and seeing the love that is in our future. And Spirit is saying, oh my God, go quickly towards that, because there's like a major, stable, long-term relationship for you, whether it be work, that you're looking for, or marriage, or both, or, whatever. It's like, it's here. So, but in our heart chakra, which is very important because it's right in the center, and there's so many things about the heart chakra, so I absolutely suggest, reading about it. The Lotus Sutras are good, but, whatever attracts you about the heart chakra, read those things, because it's basically our self-love and our nurturing center of self-love, and how we connect with the things that we love, with the energy that we love, right? And so when we're head hung low and depressed and like, oh, well, I should, I regret this and I regret that, and oh, it could have been this and it could have been that. When we're focused on that, we don't see what could possibly be in our future. And your crown chakra is saying, oh my God, hurry, see this. There's someone, it's like someone admires your beauty and your strength, and wants to have, there is a counterpart for you. So again, whether that's romantic or work, or whatever it is you're trying to achieve here in the physical world, because the 10 of Pentacles is an amazing achievement. It is also a card for Virgo. So ironic? No, I think not. Right? I think that's purposeful. Interesting. Purposeful. So yeah, there's something here to like get on the bandwagon with quick. All right. Demonstrate your strength, and demonstrate your inner strength, because you've been hiding that inner strength. Confidence on the outside. You have the confidence on the inside, but you're scared of your own power. So it's like how bright you will shine. So, I mean, this is easier. It's easier for some reason. I don't know why us human beings do this. There's a lot of things I always like question at, failure. What is it? When they say people have like failure of success, they're afraid of success, fear of success. There we go. That's the phrase I was looking for. It's like, that's always baffled me. It's like, why would you be scared to be successful? Like, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. Right. But then, I get it. I see, what those things are, and how they're deeply embedded in certain programs and stuff for us to be that way. So there's something here where it's not necessarily a fear of success, I feel, for you, but it's a fear of your own, like what would it be like if you were the freaking sun? It's like, I think you're afraid of that. And it's like, maybe there's a programming in you that like, oh, positivity is so lame, or, oh, I don't want to be, that annoying, always upbeat, positive person, or, so I don't know. There's something here going on that is holding you back. And so this is probably what you experience. You go to things with confidence, but then you get sort of like an reaction, whether it be by like dating or, job interviews or just life in general, situations. So I do feel there are a lot of missed opportunities because you're not honoring your true self-love, which is wanting to, oh my God, shine like the sun. So hurry up, do it, go after what you want. I would also say too, if anyone, if you're watching, if you are a masculine energy watching this reading, this is absolutely, showing here to, not focus on like, oh, it's too late, or, oh, I wish I could have been happy with that situation, or I wish it would have worked out. Or, don't focus on those things. Turn around and look at your future. The Two of Cups, it's there. Go get it. Whoever this is, if this is a person, if it's a feminine you're into or masculines, whatever, it's like, they have this like inner beauty, inner strength that can like match your sun, handle your sun, and allow your sun to shine, not choke it down. All right. So that's what I have for you guys. All right. We're on to Libra. Okay, Libra, how to switch it up. Okay, let's see. How to switch it up. Libras. Libra, please. Okay. All right. Rawr. Okay, so what we're doing, Libra, oh, look at that. New beginnings at the bottom of the deck. New beginnings. Very nice. What we are doing is we are looking at this card as like what you think you need to switch up. Kind of versus, or maybe incompatibility with what spirit, or, like a larger, higher self is saying, no, this is what needs to be switched up. Maybe they match, maybe they don't. That's why we're taking a look. Okay, so you have the Knave of Wands, the Page of Wands showing up here as far as what needs to be switched up. So the Page of Wands is really cool, actually. It's the spark of new things, and that's interesting because you have, and look at that. Right underneath that is changes. You have new beginnings, changes showing up here. So the Page of Wands is a good like synchronistic, card for switching things up. It's getting that spark, that curiosity, that passion, that kind of go-gettedness, starting to wake up within yourself. Okay, so let's see what you think like needs to be switched up. Okay, conception. All right, so many of you, like, you have this Page of Wands, like, you want something to change. Like, you're ready for change, but you may be thinking, well, I've got to come up with the perfect idea or the perfect conception of something. Okay, so let's see what your higher self is saying really is what needs to be switched up. Okay. Change. Oh my God, right? Changes. New beginnings, changes. So, okay, all right, and what else? Feminine energy, beautiful. What does it say? Discernment. Okay, discernment. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think you're kind of on board with what Spirit is saying here. I think the only difference is that you may be looking so intently that it needs to be something grandiose, or it needs to be this conception of something that just falls into play, or, once I get this, then I'll do that, or once I can fine tune this idea, then I can turn it into this. There's something here where I feel like you're on the right track with that, but possibly getting lost in that, in the conception. So in the like, oh my God, what do I need to change? So I would imagine you were really drawn to this reading. Okay. Out of all the signs I've seen so far, I would say that, probably Libras, I'm guessing from this are the ones who, or Libra placements are the ones who clicked the fastest, because it's like you're sensing like something needs to be switched up, sensing that there is new beginnings for you, new changes for you. So you're on the right track in that. I do feel like these are basically compatible as far as what you think does need to be changed, but then versus like what what your higher self is really saying to change. I think that it's like, it's not though necessarily like reinventing the wheel that needs to happen here. All right. And I think that's where possibly you might be hung up. Like everything's got to be perfect, or I've really got to come up with some high concept, thing or something like that. Whereas this is saying, no, you just need to like change. It's like, use your good discernment, use your beautiful feminine energy. We all have it, regardless of what gender you're identifying with, right? The feminine energy of nurturing. And that means nurturing our ideas, nurturing our subconscious, allowing that to flow, allowing it to come through, listening to our intuition when it comes through and wants to flow with us, and allowing that to be our change. It's like you probably have really good discernment. So it's like, use that in tandem with where you feel your feminine energy is directing you. So your intuition. So we're going to get more on that right now, and let's see what further messages we have for you. So you're absolutely right in, there is like this call for you to have new beginnings and changes in your life. Just don't get too caught up in reinventing the wheel. All right. Okay. So I would imagine for many of you, this is probably business related. It could be relationships too. It could mean like, well, I need to get pregnant. Or, you do have this sort of like womb, kind of energy going on here too. That's possible. But, this card then is here saying like, maybe you think that's what the answer is, like, oh, I need to get married and have a baby. Or I need to have a baby. You don't have to get married, right? That's such old fashioned thinking, right? But something like that, where it's like, well, use your discernment though. For the nest you're going to build. Make sure that you are in this beautiful, divine, feminine energy, regardless of your gender, to do that, to have a child, to nurture a child. Make sure you're using discernment as far as whom, you are deciding to have that child with also. It could be something along those lines. But let's see, for Libras, please. What do we have for further information for Libras? Ah, beautiful. Oh my gosh, Libra. Uh-oh. Okay. All right, working on the heart chakra. Good. Okay. Okay, awesome. Mm-hmm. First of all, let me say, Libras, I do see a possible move for you in your future. I feel it will be a significant move. Okay. It could just be travel, but I feel for many of you, there will be a significant move in your future, and I don't think it's too far off. It could be something within the next 3 to 6 months. Okay. So there's that. All right. So I am looking at these cards as far as like kind of chakra energy, like the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. If you're not familiar with chakras or what that means, no worries. It's like we'll talk about the energies and like what's going on here. So, I'm not going to describe all the chakras or anything like that, but you'll get enough from the reading to understand what the message is. Okay, but for those of you who do understand, the different chakras, obviously there's an issue, right? We got an issue here in the third chakra energy. energy of with the Five of Pentacles here, and a little bit of the fourth chakra. But I like what I see here, and I think this is actually very good. I feel like you're going to be coming out of. I mean, you definitely have a new beginning coming. I feel like there's big changes for you, big movement forward for you. I feel like there's a new environment for you, new friends, new situations, new social interactions, maybe dating somebody new that leads to, you know, the person of your dreams, or, you know, whatever it is that you're looking for here, right? Networking in the perfect situations in your career, celebrating like spiritual, I'm almost getting to like, yeah, like getting together and like, and like, celebrating certain spiritual times. Some of you may be highly spiritual, you know, something along those lines. Just like-minded is what I'm getting. I mean, obviously your first two here are amazing. So I would say with the Star and the Hierophant and the World card showing up in this reading for you, absolutely. Like you've healed, there's a blessing, you have a new cycle. So this is like this sort of like dredges or remnants of what's being like cleaned up, all right, within your energy right now, or what should be and like acknowledged. Okay. The thing is though, I think you are, because it's like that's probably where like that discernment came in and that change and all of that. Because the Five of Pentacles showing up in your third chakra energy, that's rough. Okay, definitely rough. It's definitely lack consciousness, lack of like seeing the world in lack, seeing the world as depressed, seeing the world as like broken, seeing yourself as broken. You know, not believing there's like enough, you know, to nurture you in this world, or not feeling nurtured in this world. Okay. So I do feel like that's been a situation. However, I do like that the Four of Swords is right after this, showing up in the heart chakra, because even though it's not like a super exciting card or, you know, overtly positive card or anything like that, to me as a reader, it kind of is. Because I always look at the Four of Swords as a card of, like, this person is, like, reviewing and being grateful for being able to see the Ace of Swords, like, laying on their truth of what has disappointed them in the past. The Three of Swords. They're at a point now where they can be grateful for their disappointments, grateful for their hard times. And I know that's difficult, you know, like some of you may be there, some of you aren't quite there yet, but this is it's a wonderful time when we can see, we can look at like the Three of Swords and then what disappointed us, and oh my God, you know, that was so hard and this is so difficult. But then we can rest on our Ace of Swords of truth about why we had to go through those difficulties. Because it was our like lack of our consciousness of lack, or of abandonment issues, or of there's just not enough, or, you know, things like that. So we've learned from that, and now we're at a point where we're actually grateful for certain experiences because they've led us to our truth, and now we can expand. All right, Jupiter, Libra energy here. So I do think that this is a pretty strong position. So even though it's a pretty negative card, it's like it's followed up by a very strong life lesson, which I do feel you are using your discernment to move forward and glean the lessons here. I feel like there's been a blessing created for you already, and it's a matter of, if you haven't kind of navigated this energy yet, absolutely do that, because your new cycle is waiting for you, ready for you to leave behind this consciousness of things, of this stuckness, or this not feeling like there's someone for you, or not feeling like life is supporting you. All right, there's a solid movement forward, but we do need to recognize why we felt that way. And once we recognize why we felt that way, for most people, it's some kind of pattern that you can easily put together by giving something just a little bit of deep thought. We don't, like I said in one of the other readings, we don't want to get stuck in years of shadow work or anything like that. That's not what this is about. We just want to recognize, like, why did we feel that way? Why, what makes you kind of look at the world as like it sucks, or that everybody's broken, or that I'm broken, or that nobody really nurtures me, or I never feel loved, or I always feel like so and so is going to leave, or I always feel like people leave me, or whatever it may be. It's like, what, usually we can pinpoint where that came from. Maybe sometimes it's just kind of deep stuff that maybe we don't recall because we were too young, or maybe it was a past life or something like that, but still we can come to some sort of reasonable deduction that that is not healthy for us, and it does not have to be accurate for us. We can change our vision of how we view things. When we're looking for support of this, we're going to find support of that. We're going to find all kinds of stories that'll support this. Those bad times, those sorrowful times, those broken things. We'll find all kinds of support in that evidence, right? But just like, I always use the example of like a flat earther, right? And I'm not criticizing, because I don't really have any opinions either way on any of that stuff. But here's a great example, most of us can relate to, like people like that are into the flat earth. They will find 50 million very logical things, to support that theory. Because when you're looking for something, you find it. Just like a scientist, is going to find 50 million logical things to prove them wrong, because they're looking for that. So it's like, we don't want to look for problems and brokenness and things like that. We want to recognize that and move from that and like, yeah, I don't want that. I want to start seeing fun in my life, adventure in my life, movement forward in my life, good friends in my life, changes, new beginnings in my life. And I think this looks very predictive, as if you will. So I feel like there's new changes ahead for you, Libras. Okay. All right. We are on to Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, please. Tell me about Scorpio. The question is, we're looking at how to switch things up, Scorpio. How to switch things up. Okay. Okay, so basically what we're doing, Scorpio, is we are looking at this side. This card is going to be what you think needs to be, like what you've been thinking needs to happen or switch in your life. As then we're going to look at what is higher consciousness really saying, though, needs to switch or, be switched around. So the first card we have out is a High Priestess. Wow. Okay. So what needs to be switched up is really tuning in to, look, the High Priestess in this particular card is an owl, right? Needing to really tune into your wisdom and allow that beautiful intuition to flow. So let's see what you think needs to be switched up. Transformation. Okay. That makes sense. Scorpio always is, feeling that is, because that is the essence of Pluto nature, right? Okay, so let's see. Miracle. Interesting. Okay, this is really interesting. So Scorpio, listen to your intuition and your wisdom, because the thing is, you're very used to digging for things and feeling like you got to get to the root of something so that you can transform, right? It's a caterpillar on the pictorial here, and the metamorphosis into the butterfly. So you are thinking that you need to do some kind of deep transformation here. So I feel like universe is saying, Scorpio, you're making it harder than it needs to be. This is useful. This is useful energy many times, and that's probably why you're going to it. But universe is clearly saying, no, it's time to tune in to your intuition, your wisdom, and allow, like, for a miracle. It doesn't have to be hard work. You don't have to turn yourself from a caterpillar to a butterfly right now. which is, again, your usual MO, most likely. All right, so let's get the tarot cards and see what else is wanting to be said here. Okay. Miracle, just one. Okay, need a miracle. All right. My old deadhead days. I think I was the only like deadhead that, you know, would go see the Grateful Dead one weekend and then the next weekend be, you know, I don't know, flying around at a, you know, Camper Van Beethoven concert or something. I don't know, whatever. Hello, 80s. Okay. All right, let's see what's going on. And not really. I think there's other people like that too. Scorpio. What do we have for you, Scorpio? Oh, okay. Oh, boy. The Hermit. Hermit saying, yeah. Take a look at that. Oh, yay. I like it. I'm set free. Yeah, the Velvet Underground song just came into my head. I'm set free. Nice. Okay. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Aw. Okay. Scorpio. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys are craving freedom right now. You just want to be free, adventurous. I do feel, you know, there's a part of you too that like really wants to, you want to have fun and be adventurous, but you really want to be rooted and secure and grounded as well. It's like you don't shirk your earthly responsibilities. You know that like life, physical day-to-day life does require, you know, groundedness, nurturing, sensibility, you know, good wisdom. I feel like that's coming through very nicely here. But again, it's very practical. I feel like you really need to allow yourself like that energy of yes, miracles can happen. Not everything has to be strategized. I think that's important. So yeah, what did I just say? Yeah, not everything needs to be strategized. There's a freedom here in going for something, in making a choice that your wisdom is absolutely guiding you to move forward toward. And it does require a leap of faith, and it does require going towards something with motivation and some gusto and really making the choice to do it. So, like, make the choice. What do you want to see in your world, Scorpio? Because this is in the, I'm kind of looking at these as like chakras, but I'm also looking at it as a story. So we have like first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh chakra, right? But I'm also looking at it as a story as well. And it's like, I think your emphasis is more on the story than the actual chakras themselves. However, you know, I will say this is in the heart chakra in the center. And the Two of Wands is very much about like choosing what our passion is and what we want to see in our world. And then you have these action cards of taking leaps of faith and with gusto going for that vision. So I would say to really tune into your heart, not your structure or, well, this is the way, you know, I got to do this in order to get that. That's not working for you. What's working for you is pure love of the vision of what you want to see and going for it with a leap of faith and being excited about that. Being excited about, you know what? I don't have to overthink this. I don't have to like go through the pain of being a caterpillar to turn into a butterfly. Miracle got my back. Right? So it's like that's what I see. I feel like you have a lot of grounded wisdom, but and that's beautiful, but it's not necessarily like what needs to be switched up is that it's not really the time for that. It's the time to take leaps of faith and to visualize the type of freedom that you want to obtain and move toward. And freedom can mean leaving a relationship. It can mean entering a relationship. We often associate like freedom, if we're talking about romance or something like that, it's like, oh, I want to be free of this, but it's like, but entering into a relationship can be freedom, if that is on equal playing ground, right? So I don't know. There's something here that needing to not try so hard. This is not the time that you have to go to the usual scorpionic measures of, well, I got to be this to be that, or, how can I get this to be that? It's more of an allowance, but also an action taking, all right, of leap of faith by visualizing what it is that you want to move toward, all right? And also too, I mean, we can't like not talk about, these two cards, because the Hermit is shining the light on these two. So if we look at it as chakras, this would be the first and second chakra. So it's like the root chakra probably is very strong within you and has probably had many, many things that you've gone after before, but it may not have really panned out that well. But the thing is, you may be having like resentment energy focused around the root chakra from going after things and not having them play out the way you like. But really, it has a lot more to do with not firmly committing to what do you want to really see in your world? What are you really going to put your true self into? So in other words, it could be relationships. Maybe you had a lot of gusto towards relationships, right? Desire, passion, things like that. But then maybe they fell through. Didn't work out the way you wanted to. Maybe there's resentments now. The Nine of Wands can be a resentment type of energy or something. But that's in your fight or flight nature of your root chakra. Well, it's more than that, but, just for the sake of ease. So it's like, it really doesn't have anything to do with like if it's a relationship like that person or that's I mean it does in a way, but it's more about like there was probably an infinity loop of indecision. There wasn't full commitment, for that. We may think that, I don't know. I feel like I'm walking on dangerous territory here because I mean, I'm a Scorpio too, but it's like I do know that some scorpionic energy can get very angry at hearing certain things like that. So I'm going to kind of leave that where that is. Maybe I'll steer away from equating it to relationships. Okay, so whatever this is here, I would say your first and second chakras, which really have a lot to do with how we feel safe and how we want to like come out into the world and experience things and do things and that kind of deal. So there's something here that's a little bit tied up in not fully committing. And I feel like the Hermit is really highlighting this. So I feel like you've got a pretty easy 3-step program here. It's like, don't think about resentments from past opportunities or past things or past relationships or past passions that didn't work out or anything like that. Don't spend time in that. Visualize what you really want to see your world looking like, and then take actions and with faith toward that you want to see. So if you don't want to see kind of blah results, right, with something, then choose something that you will be absolutely committed to and excited about and have faith in to move toward. And wow, miracle. There's going to be a miracle that occurs once you do that. All right. So that's what I have for Scorpio. We're on to Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius, please. Tell me about Sagittarius. What needs to be switched up? Okay, Sagittarius, please. Okay, Okay, so Sagittarius, basically what we are going to do is we are going to look at what you think needs to be switched up, kind of versus, or maybe in tandem, in agreement with what higher consciousness is really saying needs to be switched up. Okay, so we have the Queen of Pentacles here. Very nice card. Very nice card. So we do have a card of stability, groundedness, nurturing. It's very tied into the physical world. All right. It's not like super cosmic and things like that. I mean, it can be. Absolutely. Everything can be. But it's more of like grounded energy here. Okay, so let's see. What do you think needs to change? So you guys probably want to be like married or in a really long-term relationship, or you just want to be grounded in your own, maybe if it's not marriage that you're looking for or something. Like Queen of Pentacles is oftentimes like my wife card or something along those lines. If that's not something that's of interest to you, you just want to be grounded, secure, maybe, have your own business or, something along those lines. Okay. So you are thinking like how you need to switch it up is basically like synergy. Like you may feel like you miss opportunities or that your timing isn't great, or that you just want to get into the right synergy with someone or a soulmate or a perfect job or something like that. Okay, so let's see what higher consciousness says. It's the heart chakra. Okay. All right. So these two are kind of complementary, though, quite frankly. So it's like you're on the right track, but I feel like source, a higher consciousness, kind of you is, the heart chakra is very nurturing energy. It starts with self-love. And that self-love then can become very nurturing and prosperous in other ways. All right. So like when we show gratitude, self-love, things like that for ourselves and increase our frequency of the heart chakra by doing that for ourselves first, then of course, naturally, that's going to expand out to others and also come back to us. So it is synergy that you're on the right track. I do feel like that is where things are going. The thing is, though, I think it needs to come out in a more physically represented way, not in a cosmic way. Although, of course, we never deny the cosmic. I mean, it is cosmic. It's all cosmic. Okay. But for what needs to be switched up right now, I feel like needs to be a little bit more grounded in your desires right now. Okay, so let's see what we have. Let me get the tarot and we'll expand on that as needed. Yeah. Some of you with ancient Egypt roots here for sure. Okay, tell me about Sagittarius, please. What else do they need to know about how to switch things up? Scorpio had a very similar combination. Oh, look, your card. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wowza. Okay, Sagittarius. Okay. Yeah, there may be some like lingering like regrets over something that like are need to be let go of, as far as like not thinking about them so much or giving them that energy anymore. Okay, so the good news is like you, as far as switching things up, I absolutely hands down see that is very, very probable and extremely likely. All right. I mean, look at the major arcanas here. You have the Fool card. You have your card. This is the card designated for Sagittarius, the Temperance card. You have the Star card. You have the Lovers card. You have the World card. You have 2 minor arcana cards. Wow. So, I mean, big time movement here. because the major arcana cards, which are these cards here, are kind of considered a little bit more of like the heavy hitters, you know, like, yeah, this is kind of faded, you know, kind of thing. And whereas the minor arcanas are sort of like the little day-to-day crap that, you know, influences, you know, a lot of things, that for better or for worse. Okay, so I'm looking at these as the chakras, but I'm also looking at this spread as a story. So we have the first chakra, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. I would say your higher chakras, awesome. Congratulations. Very, very nice. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that the higher chakras are better than the lower chakras or anything like that. Okay. Most of you, I'm assuming if you're a Sagittarius, you probably know what chakras are. Most, you know, most Sagittarius have some like esoteric knowledge already. If you don't, easy enough, Google, you know, you can look at them. But anyway, so the only things that I see this as being, and it's funny because that is the heart chakra. So I feel like the heart chakra is blocked. Okay. It's like blocking your pure essence. That's you, Sagittarius, right? And it's like the fourth chakra is the heart, and you did have this as being how to switch things up from universe. They're saying heart chakra. This is a card of blocking, keeping things at arm's length, right? So it's like, in a way, I feel like amazing things can open up for you, Sagittarius, but it's like that heart chakra work is that's what's needed. So some of you desiring synergy with a soulmate, or synergy just in your life, right? Or with source, even, you know, with divine, you know, whatever this may be. But there's something here where your heart chakra is keeping things at arm's length. It's blocking. So I feel like everything else is like in alignment except for that. I do. I feel like these are fine. Like, I don't see any, you know, big red flags with this, or anything to critique on, or, you know, anything like that, or to, you know, necessarily applaud. But this I applaud. You know, this looks really, really good. So, I mean, I would say, you know, your visualization is good. You're visualizing hope, faith, you know, healing. I do. Oh, I'm sorry. Your communication. Your communication, when you communicate, it is like hope. It is faith. You know, you communicate well. You're inspiring when you communicate. All right. You're probably really good at like healing. Some of you may have a very healing voice, something along those lines. I feel like you are able to visualize high vibrational choices for yourself. And I mean, the crown chakra with the world, I mean, come on, you know, that's like amazing. So, you know, I really do think that your spiritual potential here is, and this is probably, I don't think this is going to surprise you. I think you would probably already know this stuff about yourself, but this may be a surprise. So really, I don't need to go too much further with this, other than to recommend absolutely doing what you can on working with the heart chakra, because it's like so much alignment here, so much alignment. But that, you know, that blocking force is what isn't synergy. You know, it's creating non-synergy in your life. So I do feel like you can get to this place of Queen of Pentacles, whatever that means to you, this groundedness, this nurturing, this physical self-care, being a wife, or being a mother, or just being prosperous in this life, you know, whatever, on the physical plane and all that, because your spiritual plane is very good. You can have all of those things, whatever it is that you desire, but this needs to be opened way more. So study about the heart chakra. The Lotus Sutras, excellent for that. If that doesn't like appeal to you right away, though, don't force yourself into reading it. You know, just like feel whatever you're drawn to, but make sure that it's good information that encourages self-love and sharing love, not pushing it away, not afraid to use it. You know, make sure it's information that is about cultivating it and sharing it. Okay? All right. So we're on to Capricorn. Beautiful, Sagittarius. Beautiful. All right, Capricorn. All right, so we are looking at how to switch things up. All right. Capricorn, please. Okay, Capricorn, so let's see. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. All right, so the Nine of Pentacles is a very stable energy. It's a lot of confidence in oneself. It's unique talents many times also that can be very prosperous for you. Sometimes it's a single card. It doesn't, it doesn't have to be, it's an independence card in the feminine energy. So and if you're masculine, it's fine. It's still, what it is, but it's still a very strong, like, independent. I'm okay with where I am, but it's like, I do want to keep improving. Okay, so if you are single too, the Nine of Pentacles can be a card of just about to meet someone. Okay, so let's take a look at. And that's just my own personal take on tarot. It doesn't mean that every time you see a tarot reading. All right. Each reader has their own things to certain cards. So now let's take a look. This is what you think needs to be switched up. And this is what universe is saying, like, needs to be switched up. All right. So what do you think needs to be switched up? Ancient wisdom. Okay, so you guys may be seekers right now. You may be seeking out, like, ancient wisdom in order to obtain, some sort of independence or more belief in yourself or something like that. All right, let's see what universe says. Integration. Okay. All right. I love this. Okay. So the song by The Who, The Seeker, comes to mind. I've been searching low and high, where, it's like we can seek and seek and seek and seek and seek, and we can read from the ancient wisdom masters and read from the ancient wisdom masters and read from the ancient wisdom masters and all of those things. But if we don't actually, like, integrate that into, like, what they're teaching us, or what maybe you're tuning into your own ancient wisdom. I mean, it doesn't have to be wisdom masters that you're looking for or modern day masters or anything like that. I would guess, though, you probably are, like, seeking a lot of that information, or you have over your lifetime. But it's like the source is saying that's great, but now it's time to actually use and utilize that ancient wisdom, integrate it into, like, who you are. Value that ancient wisdom. Don't negate it and as being a part of your life journey. It's like integrate that into your work, especially if you have your own business. Integrate ancient wisdom into your business. If it's like about you're single and you want to be married, integrate all that the ancient wisdom teachers tell us, into that self-confidence and beautiful, blooming heart energy, right? Okay, so let's see what else we get here. So it's kind of, I feel like it's Source kind of like having fun with you in saying this, but it is a serious message. So, because, I mean, we can keep searching low and high, and find out more and more and more and more. But if we don't integrate it, then what's the point? Okay, so let's see. What do we have for Capricorn, please? Capricorn. Yeah. Okay. Oh boy. All right. Oh my. Capricorn, you're so much more than you think. So much more than you think. You're thinking that you need to study, you need to learn more, you need to learn from this, you need to learn from that, and the thing is, it's like, wow. No, you just need to integrate what the wisdom masters are teaching. Now, here's another thing. If you don't study, like, the wisdom masters, or like that's too, dense or something, like, oh God, I don't want to take on that book, it's too dense or something, then find, like, things that you do like or that you do gravitate toward. Don't be like intimidated also, I would say, by the wisdom masters or anything like that. I can't imagine a Capricorn would be, but I don't know. I do see an element, a little bit of that in your reading. So it's like, no, it's like they really do have many, many answers in which we seek. So absolutely get curious. If you're already curious, you already read a million things or watch a million videos on the wisdom masters and think, then start really integrating this, because what I'm seeing is a lot of like lack of confidence in this setup here, and like feeling like you couldn't possibly, have the answers or something like that when you probably do. Okay, so I feel like you need to really, really visualize more confidence in integrating these teachings. So for instance, like if you don't really read any of that stuff, like a good starting point would almost, I'm almost getting like a vibe of reading something like Dale Carnegie, or something like that, of like How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a famous book of his, something like that where you can visualize yourself being more confident in your demeanor, in who you are, things like that. Sometimes that's funny too. Another thing, sometimes we get hung up on the wisdom masters, these deep philosophical teachings and things like that. But sometimes it's the simplest books, something like that I just mentioned. And I'm not necessarily recommending that book. Honestly, I've never read it before in my life, but I know, from, past experience from bookstores and having my own bookstore as well, that it was always a popular book in the self-help realm. So, but it's like, sometimes we can find those simple things, in the simplest of books. Because I read both. I love reading about the deep wisdom, masters and, things like that, or philosophy or whatever, right? But then I also can glean just as much by picking up like a Shakti Gawain book, or something like that, right? Which, isn't really defined as like wisdom masters or something. But you know what? I find wisdom in that book. So there's something here about needing to integrate, either these teachings into your life, or if you already have saturated yourself with these teachings, then it's time to use them, because I just see lack of confidence here. When it comes to relationships, when it comes to approaching others in relationships, there's like excuses made, I feel, or, not feeling like things will work out here. 1 minute feeling like you have like passion, but the next like lacking the confidence to see something through. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of self work here. And I noticed lately it's kind of a trend to, I think it's more of a Gen Z a trend though, like to, which is fine. I'm not mocking it whatsoever, but where people are saying, you know what, you don't need all this self-help. You don't need all these things. You don't need to fix this. You don't need to fix that. You just need to know that you are enlightened. And I do agree with that to a certain extent. But honestly, the reality is it doesn't really work that way. It's like we do need those things to get us to the point of realizing that we don't need those things. So that's a little deeper concept, and I probably, I'll save that for another day. But basically what I'm saying is that there's a need here to integrate more ancient wisdom into one's life. All right. And not in an insulting way whatsoever, because you have it. Absolutely. You either read it all the time or you don't read it at all. Either way, it's time to actually either dive into those books and start integrating them into those wisdom teachings into your life and utilizing them. Or, if you do read it all the time, well, then they're telling you the same stuff over and over. And I don't care what wisdom master you read. It all boils down to the same thing. Always the same thing. Self-love, integrate this into ourselves. create a personal relationship with God, or whatever you deem, well, word wise you want to use in that field, right? So there's something to that. That's what I see. So, I mean, if you want to switch things up, then confidence is absolutely something to study. Confidence. Okay. Let's see. So that's Capricorn. We're on to Aquarius. Aquarius, how to switch things up. All right. Aquarius, please. I just heard dun 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 dun. Interesting. Okay, like a very dramatic reveal or something. Okay, dun 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 dun. Okay, what do we have for Aquarius? Okay, Aquarius. So how to switch things up. So we have the two of cups. Beautiful. So the two of cups is really like a beautiful kind of like soul union, sacred union. It can indicate like an actual, physical world partner. All right. It can be a little more metaphysical than that too, of like the cosmic blending of different energies. But let's see. Let's get a little bit more. This card I've designated to be like what you think like needs to be switched up. And this is more like the cosmic consciousness saying, well, okay, but this is really what needs to be switched up. Maybe they match, maybe they don't. Let's see. Honoring your energy. Ooh, cool. I don't think that card's ever really come out before. I don't really remember ever seeing this card. Honoring your energy. So that makes sense. It's Aquarius. It's unique, right? It's not a common card that comes out for everyone. Okay, so that's where you're kind of thinking you need to be. Let's see if that's what how your consciousness is saying. Alchemy, interesting. Okay, which is like a transmuting of like two energies. Interesting. Oh, okay. All right. So interesting. So you may be thinking like how to switch things up is like you need to honor your energy. You need to grow. You need to, focus on you. You do you, kind of thing, right? And, absolutely. I mean, there's, that is absolutely part of our journey and, putting ourselves in that honoring of our own energy, our own time, whatever is needed. However, what's being shown over here is like how to switch things up. Like you may be thinking that's the way to do it, but what's really kind of showing here is more blending with others. Okay. Let's read the alchemy card and you'll kind of see what I'm saying here. Okay. So it says, the frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrances of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge. I'm sorry, the print is so teeny tiny and it's white against this like pale background. So let me, I kind of butchered that. Let me try this again. And I got to bend it so the glare. Okay. The frequency of alchemy activates our magical ability and remembrance of the magic that we all hold inside. Each one of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allowed the true alchemist to perform the miracles of transmutation. Okay, so there's something about blending here, not just honoring like your energy. And I don't think you're being selfish, Aquarius. I'm not trying to say that whatsoever. Because again, self-care is very good. But this is saying, okay, but this goes beyond this. This is time to like blend something. Let's see if we can get a little bit. I'm going to read I've been putting these cards down in the order of chakras, but I'm going to read yours a little bit differently because I feel like there's a different type of message that wants to come out here. So let me take a look and see what the cards have to say. There's something about like blending. Like, I feel like you've done this. Like, look, there's no more room for this. Like this flower, right, is growing and growing and blossoming and blossoming but it's gonna kind of run out of room here. So I feel like what this is saying is like you've been doing this. You've been receiving the positive sunshine, and so you're growing and you're thriving, and you've been honoring your energy, and that's fantastic. But at some point, we kind of run out of room with that. We need to like transmute this. Like, okay, what do we do with this beautiful blossoming energy now? Well, we share it with others in a deep way, in a soul-connected way. We allow things to blend together to make something harmonious and beautiful. So I feel like that's what it's saying. All right. So maybe it's time to have a relationship, or maybe it's time to share, something, a talent, or, something like that, I feel is what the message is of how to switch things up from a very soul level. This is very primordial that I'm getting from this. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, very positive energy here. Yeah, you're so visionary. You're more visionary than you realize. I think you see yourselves as very practical. But once you start like sharing, many of you, I feel like relationships need to happen for you in a very soul connected way. So whether that be romantic or probably, but, whatever, it's like there's something where like romantic energy and sharing with another cannot be discounted, like out of your life. So some of you may be saying, "Oh hell no, I don't care about romance right now." Okay, that's fine. On those levels, whatever. That's cool. This is different than that. This is more of pretty soon when you honor your energy. Like I said, you kind of run out of room where now it's time to like share. It's time to share that love and that positivity. And I feel like you guys most likely will meet someone is what I'm seeing fairly soon. I feel like this could be in the very near future. And there's something about that particular blend that is very visionary, and it's the right blend. Someone is very, has a plan and comes from a more structured past, perhaps. Whereas you have like this incredible ability to see what's missing and know what you need to go after. So there's something about blending those things together that is so visionary and so positive in your future if you can see that. All right. But many of you too, I feel like I'm seeing a prediction. Not just like that message, but I also feel like I am seeing a prediction that there is a relationship for you in the future. And again, I feel like it is coming in fairly quickly. I feel like someone's making a very big decision in their life in order to come toward you. So, but I feel like it's going to be a good situation. Like they know what they're doing. So I do feel like it's not a crazy third party drama, spread here that I'm seeing. This is very like mature energy of, and not that that's immature, but it's like a very mature energy of, a new plan, a new kind of love, a new way of viewing love, and how you view love. It's time to share. your love. And I feel like you're going to find love quickly, even if you're not looking for love. And again, if you're like, oh, I don't want love, well, okay. I don't know. I mean, I always think that's crazy. I mention that all the time in comments. People, well, I don't care about love. I just want to know about my job or something. Well, I'm sorry. Love is everything. Why would you not care about love? It doesn't mean it has to be like, a big romance or something. It's like love is, of course you care about love. Everybody on this planet cares about love, and it's like, or I just care about my job. Well, is your job not love? It's like, of course we care about love. So it's like, care about love, in the sense of, yes, you've honored this work within yourself. Now it's time to like share, blend, work with someone else. I feel in like a visionary future. I feel like you have a really good partnership coming in. All right. Okay. So that's Aquarius. We're on to Pisces. Let's see. Yep, that's the right cards. Okay. Pisces, please. Pisces, we are looking at like what to switch up, how to switch something up, that kind of energy. Okay. Pisces, please. Okay. Rawr. I just love that tiger on there. Okay. Pisces, I feel like you'll find the Aquarius reading useful because I see the Three of Wands at the bottom of the deck from this card I just put down, and that was a major card in the Aquarius reading. So if you're cuspy, you may want to watch both. Okay. Tell me about Pisces, though. Pisces. Okay. Oh my gosh, the Hermit. All right. Love the Hermit on this deck. Kind of reminds me of Ganesha a little bit. Okay. So what needs to be switched up? Okay, listening to your wisdom, listening to wisdom. Okay, let's see. Now, these I've designated, actually, this is a wild card. I'm going to put this one here. I feel like this is kind of a bridge between these two. This is designated as what you think needs to be switched up, kind of versus, or hopefully in tandem with what universe is saying needs to be switched up. Okay, so here's what you're thinking needs to be switched up. Teaching, okay. And this is what universe is saying. Okay. Sexual energy. Wow. Well, okay. Oh, Pisces, you never disappoint. Okay, hold on. Let me look at, I'm afraid to look at your bridge. Oh, hello, passion. Oh my. All right. What the hell? What am I doing with this? Okay. Okay, give me a minute. Oh my God, I sound like I'm giggling like a schoolgirl here. Ah, sexual energy. Okay, let's see. Passion. Okay, all right, I get it. This is the bridge. Okay, okay. So it's like with the Hermit here. All right, Hermit is absolutely like about our like wisdom and things like that. So what needs to be switched up? Turning this lamp on, right? It's like letting that lamp on. Some of you may feel like obligated or something like that. Like, well, I have this knowledge, I should be teaching it. Or, I have, this skill, I should be teaching it. Or maybe some of you like just want to be like some kind of teacher, right? Or helper of some sort or something like that. I feel like you're thinking like the way to go about it is that you have to be very rooted. You have to have like deep roots and, be very solid and, all that kind of thing. Whereas I feel like Spirit is saying, you know what though? More importantly than that is your passion. And utilizing your creative energy. Because our sexual energy, let's face it, it is our key, our chi energy, right? So it's like, which is the creative life force. So I feel like it's saying, like you're thinking it's got to be this. Like you need to be really deep rooted. You need to set a good example. Teach, maybe your kids this, or maybe you want to be teachers, or maybe you want to set up like a class of some sort, or, whatever. But, oh, I got to be super rooted. This is saying, no, you just need to like be passionate and like flow over here to your creative energy. You don't have to be like this solid, rooted tree trunk of, whatever that's tied into the 13th century BC wisdom master of this or that or something, right? It's like, that teaches your craft or your skill. It's like, it's fine. It's like, but you do need to like integrate, use this, like utilize your passion and your creative life force. All right. That's what needs to switch things up. You're thinking you need to go get teaching. You need, or, from a rooted person, a rooted master, or a rooted this, or something like that. That could be it too. I just kind of jumped to that you are wanting to do this, but it's like perhaps you are looking for teaching. You're looking for someone, for the roots. You're looking for the ancient answers. All right. Well, instead, universe is saying, like, in order to switch things up, it's like, let your passion and your chi circulate and bring your own answers, because that's what chi will do. Like if that chi is blocked, yeah, by all means search for some teachings and some wisdom masters and rooted things. Yeah, definitely. But it's like if you can free your own, through different yogic practices, and yogic practices doesn't mean you have to be in a weird stretch, whatever. It's like, sure, that can be part of it, the physical body, but there's also like pranayama part of it, pranayama, your breathing exercises, there's meditation, there's all kinds of different like practices that can help. Eastern is usually the foremost teachers, on those types of things, of whether it be Buddhist or Hindu or any of those things, right? How to tap in to that true creative life force. All right, so let's see what the tarot has to say. All right, for Pisces. Pisces. All right. So what's going on, Pisces, please? Wanting to switch things up. Okay. I feel like you're switched. Okay, so it's like, yeah, and I can see then why this like chi and passion and sexual energy kind of cards are coming out, because it's almost as if like these should be in the higher centers and these should be in the lower centers, of your chakras. I'm looking at your chakras: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. It's okay if you don't, you're not sure exactly what chakras represent what. For this reading, you don't need to know that. That's just additional information for you if you do know what different chakras are, and that's for your own benefit to take a look at these cards. But basically what I'm getting is like your upside is down, your down is up, kind of thing. What's that, the Beatles song or something, like your inside is out, or so, I don't know. So it's like everything's there. Yeah, I feel like you guys, you don't need like again, I don't feel like you need like these big rooted teachings. Or again, if you have the desire to be a teacher of some sort or teach a skill or something, it's like, there's something here where this is the only thing important right now, is like really following your passion and waking up that creative life force energy flow. So no pinched nerves, no tension, and, check yourself daily. Always, start with the top and move down, check your jaw, check your neck, check your shoulders, remind and check in often with your body, your physical body, to make sure that it is relaxed. Do circulation exercises, right? Ankles, feet, your ankles, turn them clockwise, turn them the other way, counterclockwise. Do your wrists, do your arms, if whatever's safe, that you can do, neck rolls, if that's something you can do safely, things like that to get your circulation like flowing and your passion like brewing again. Some of you have become possibly somewhat stagnant. Maybe it's taken a lot of emotional energy and draining energy for you to take a root chakra action. And so it's part of that is like you're healing that physical sexual energy within yourself right now. But you have the strength card here. So it's like you are able to do that. The thing is, I feel like you're almost like cheating yourself from those higher chakras, which are extremely beneficial for us. Like, again, looking to somebody else's teachings or looking to, this or that or the other. For physical world situations. That's why I said I feel like it should be kind of switched in a way. So it's like, I feel like your higher chakras are more identified with the physical world, whereas your lower chakras are more identified with the spiritual world. And that's not necessarily like a criticism or anything wrong. There's nothing wrong with that because we do need to do that at certain times. There's certain things that do work for us at times. But there's something about like kind of like robbing yourself, though, of not communicating clearly like who you really are to source. Because I think that I feel like you are like so beautiful and like so capable of making like really, really difficult, high discerning decisions. From a very high place that you are, but you don't like believe that of yourself. You may believe, oh, that's just luck, or, oh, well, I just made this move because it was secure, or, something like that. I feel like you're denying this like higher side of yourself that is just as beautiful. Like, look at something you've taken action towards from the root chakra energy, right? Recently, that's been emotionally draining, that you have like made a high vibrational choice about and are developing like more strength in your self-love because of that. Because that's you. That's the higher side of you. So don't then cheat the higher side of yourself by thinking, well, I better make this grounded decision and this grounded decision. And of course we want to be grounded, but we got to follow our passions and like unblock that energy that feels stagnant. And the wisdom isn't out there or with some, rooted, tree or something like that. I mean, it is, the answer's everywhere, but it's like the answer is, your own personal chi, your own personal energy, your own personal passion. And that is what I'm seeing here. It's interesting too because we have belief at the bottom of the deck, right? And it says the frequency of belief supports our sense of self-worth based on our gifts and talents and a strong connection to source. So there's something here about like your beliefs, your talents, your gifts, gifts from source that I do feel need to be empowered more. And I think that you can really release these through releasing like literal physical blockages. So I would say do that through visualization could be a really good, and I feel like you're like, oh God, not that again. I feel like you've done that or you've tried that or something along those lines, but it's like, do it again. It's like, but this time with more belief, more purpose, see those blockages, like visualize, some people are good at visualizing, some people aren't. Right? So don't beat yourself up. If you keep trying to visualize and you're not that great at it, it's like, well, then find like some kind of guided, thing. I'm not usually a fan of those because, I don't know, I'm a little paranoid with some of those. But, find one that feels right to you, or just like make up something different. Like if it's hard for you to visualize reality things, or something like that. Like, like if it's a health issue or, oh, realize yourself, feeling better and, doing the things you love. Well, that's might be hard for you to visualize like that clearly. So if you're more of an abstract thinker, or maybe you're more of a creative thinker, or you lose attention easily or something like that, well, meditate, that'll help. But then think of something abstract though that represents, because we have archetypes. So if it doesn't behoove you to visualize concretely, right, then visualize abstractly. So like if it's like a health issue or something and you have a hard time seeing yourself like, out dancing, or something like that doesn't come easily to you, then visualize then like the blockage, whatever it is, use it, see it as a concrete brick or, something like that, right? And then, but see that like concrete brick breaking down, in a good way, and kind of dissipating into like, a throughway and a passageway, so that it's not blocking something anymore. You know what I'm saying? We can get really more creative with our visualizations in that way sometimes. Sometimes people are too creative that they can't visualize. So, there's something that I think would be very helpful for you in that area, even if you've done it before and you're saying, oh, not that again. I do think that it would be very valuable for you. Okay. So that's what I see for you, Pisces. Yeah, really, really do what you can to nurture this energy within you, your personal chi, sexual energy, creative energy, passions, things like that. Okay. All right, that's what I have for everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed your readings. Thank you.